Hi everybody. Here is a business idea that has been in my head for 1 or 2 years. I often ask myself the question, what do I want to do when everything is going well? If personally, for example, I were guaranteed to have enough money to live until the end of my life, what would I want to do? I'm 22 years old, and in the last few years of asking myself this question, I've noticed a directive emerging, and that is that I think I would like to start and run an entertainment business. So, a company that would look like Disney, Netflix, or Hybe, for example, which is the first K-pop company. I sometimes write down ideas that I would like to realize, not immediately anyway because I don't have the budget, but for example when I am 30, 40 or 50 years old. I don't mind sharing it with you because I think you get more benefits by sharing information than by keeping it to yourself. So here is my first business idea. It would be a company that would massively install speakers in cities to broadcast music. Honestly, I'm a fan of pop music, so the most famous music of recent years, that is to say the music clips with several million or billion views, K-pop, and the music of the moment which is played on the radio. But apart from on the internet, on the radio or during the artist's concerts, I never heard this music, which nevertheless I found to be the best, and I would particularly like to hear it in the street. And maybe I don't listen enough, but I find that in Europe, street musicians, singers, violinists, pianists play a lot of classical music. So Chopin, Vivaldi, Schubert, etc. And these are composers who lived for the most part between 1600 and 1800, so 200 to 400 years ago. And I don't understand why they have such old references and don't use today's reference artists who live at the same time as them. So for example, Alan Walker, Ed Sheeran, Justin Bieber, David Guetta, Blackpink, BTS, Tomorrow X Together, New Jeans, etc. So for example, I find that Spotify is an example of a company that scales well. They specialize in music streaming and are the most well-known music app with 150 million subscribers. Well, I think there is room for a company of similar size to Spotify or Uber, for example, to specialize in setting up speakers in city centers in particular. Afterwards, there can be different degrees of management. For example, will the company produce its own speakers in its own factories, have its own radios, choose the music it broadcasts and install them with its own employees in the cities, with the agreement of the municipalities obviously? Or would it be, for example, like Uber, just an application or a website, where cities, therefore town halls, would choose to call them so that they install speakers and would choose the type of music, for example, to pay their own radio or use a streaming application like Spotify, which is ideal for playing playlists over long periods indefinitely. But in any case, I don't think it will be so easy to set up, because it will not be a service dedicated to the general public, but in agreement with the town halls, therefore the public authorities, where my idea would be to make a private company. And I believe that only the public authorities can authorize the installation of speakers in the streets of their cities. But then, not everyone has the same musical tastes, so I understand that this hasn't been done yet, although I've already seen it in certain cities in France, but it's music of ambience or local music, not pop. and it's true that I don't know if pop would appeal as much to young pedestrians as to older ones, but hey, who doesn't try gets nothing. Personally, I think that yes, it would work. So here is my idea. Maybe I will do it in a few hours, maybe someone else. It's the law of the market and competition. But if someone else does it, I would be just as happy because I could also enjoy it as an audience. So thanks for listening to my idea. See you everyone.